This is the Lenovo Yoga Book 9i, and as you can clearly see, it's a dual display laptop. All we can say is that it's really amazing. In fact, we are surprised at how practical it actually is. But to give you a quick rundown, you get dual 13.3-inch OLED displays, and you can use the Yoga Book 9i in a variety of ways. You get the usual modes such as tent, display, tablet, and of course, laptop. But with the included folio stand, you now also get two additional modes in the form of book and scroll. The scroll mode in particular is arguably our favorite and probably the most practical yet. It's almost exactly like using a dual monitor setup with a desktop at home, but now you actually get to have that experience on the go. It's ridiculously amazing. Now before we get ahead of ourselves, let's actually take a look at what the Lenovo Yoga Book 9i actually offers. We start with the design, and it's, well, definitely a looker. The tidal teal color in particular certainly fits well with the entire minimalistic design, and that same color translates down to even the accessories such as the folio stand, the magnetic Bluetooth keyboard, and even the digital pen 3. Lenovo also makes use of smooth, rounded edges all around the frame, which certainly gives it a softer look, but it's also practical at the same time given the multi-function nature of the device. Despite the dual displays, the Yoga Book 9i is still relatively thin at just 15.95mm and weighs about 1.34 kilograms. In terms of ports, you do get the bare minimum here as usual with most devices in this class. Basically, there's just 3 Thunderbolt 4 Type-C ports, and that's actually it. There isn't a 3.5mm combo jack to be found anywhere, and honestly, it's a real shame, but we also kind of understand why that was extremely difficult to implement, given the fact that the entire bottom chassis has a 13.3-inch display panel, so I guess it is what it is. Now, it is possible to still plug in your favorite pair of cans with a Type-C dongle, but do know that those dongles that include a 3.5mm jack usually do cost quite a fair bit more, as the implementation itself requires a DAC inside it. So we guess it's kind of trade-off here, but you can still always use a good pair of Bluetooth headphones. But you might not even need to do that because the built-in speakers on the Yoga Book 9i are actually really good. Due to the design, Lenovo has actually implemented a soundbar within the hinge itself. That portion includes 2 tweeters, and that works in tandem with the 2 woofers that are located in the bottom half of the chassis. The result produces really clear and vibrant sounds that makes listening to music surprisingly really enjoyable. Now of course, it also does great with movies and the likes as well, with a little bit of bass no less thanks to those 2 woofers. Now, any audiophile would also know that besides the quality of the speakers, positioning is equally or perhaps even more important. Because the soundbar is built right into the hinge, the tweeters are almost always directed to where your ears are, which does make quite the difference. Overall, it's a great speaker system with the help of Bowers and Wilkins, and we really enjoyed it. Which, speaking of, we have to talk about the dual OLED displays. To put it really simply, OLED is really amazing, and the fact that you get 2 here doubles the awesomeness. Now, both the panels are the exact same. So it's a 13.3-inch OLED panel with a 16:10 aspect ratio at a resolution of 2880 by 1800 running at 60Hz. It's also capable of 100% DCI-P3, a 400 nits average brightness with a peak brightness of about 600 nits, support for display HDR 500 True Black, and supports Dolby Vision as well. Everything that you do with OLED is just great and feels natural thanks to Corning Gorilla Glass 3. Watching your favorite content is really enjoyable with punchy and vibrant colors, and even just doing general tasks is comfortable and great to use. The 16:10 aspect ratio is also beneficial for productivity, giving you that slight extended height in resolution to view more things at a glance. And the fact that it uses the same panel for both displays is really great. It reduces that friction between transitioning between the 2 displays, and it's just more natural for your eyes, removing the need to kind of acclimatize. Not to mention that both displays support touch and 4096 levels of pressure sensitivity with the Digital Pen 3. Okay, so with all that out of the way, let's focus on how you actually can use the YogaBook 9i. First and foremost, it is still a laptop, so you can certainly use it as such. Now you might be wondering, how do you get a keyboard? All you have to do is tap 8 fingers on the display and it will pop out a full virtual keyboard and touchpad on the bottom display. Now, how does it feel? Not too bad in our opinion. Now, Lenovo did also include haptics to provide as much tactility as possible. With enough time, you can get really comfortable with it. It's not the best, but it's workable. But if you want an actual keyboard, you can do that too. Included with the YogaBook 9i is a magnetic Bluetooth keyboard. You can just take this and place it on the bottom display where you attach magnetically. The YogaBook 9i will instantly recognize it and bring up the touchpad on the bottom. So now you get kind of like a standard laptop design, and this works brilliantly. On top of that, you can also actually attach the keyboard on the bottom half of the bottom display. And with this setup, the YogaBook 9i will bring up 2 small little multitasking apps. The left will be the calendar and the right will be current news. In our opinion, this is probably the worst implementation of the bunch of modes that you can use, as you can't really replace those 2 apps per se. If you were to cancel them, all the YogaBook 9i does is revert back to the use of the full display. But now the keyboard is, basically obscuring half of it. If there's any work that Lenovo needs to do, it's probably that mode. Now, you can definitely use all the other usual modes such as Tent, which is incredibly useful for on-site presentations, or even just take it on the go like a tablet. Tablet mode is also arguably one of the most useful modes if you're using the Digital Pen 3. For drawing or note-taking, this is certainly a great way to do so. But now, let's focus on the best use case we've ever tried, and that is the book and scroll mode. If you're someone who's more into programming or coding, or just prefer to use your displays in portrait mode, that is the way to go. Scroll mode, however, is where it's at. This is the best use of the YogaBook 9i, and it literally transforms how you use your laptop anywhere you go. For starters, the experience is exactly just like you would expect from a dual display setup at home or at the office, one on top of the other. The best part about it is the position and the comfort that this mode provides while still being extremely practical and versatile. When placed in scroll mode, the top display essentially acts as your main display per se, and due to the nature of the design, the display is placed right where your eyes will naturally rest when looking straight ahead while sitting down. It's so natural that you don't even think about it and you'll just be naturally doing it. And when used with the magnetic Bluetooth keyboard which attaches as so, together with an external Bluetooth mouse, you really get to make use of the dual displays to its entirety. You can have your main window on the top display and have a secondary window or another application open on the bottom display. Everything is at your disposal and it's amazing. With this setup, you're going to be alt-tabbing much less often. In addition, the soundbar is going to be positioned optimally, and so is the webcam. Right, so up top you do get a Full HD webcam with a 5-megapixel sensor, and as you can tell, it looks really natural, really great, and overall, the microphones also do sound good. So all in all, you are getting an above average webcam, and I'm pretty sure that anyone who uses this will be pleased with it. As for performance and battery life, the YogaBook 9i is what you would expect it to be. Performance is great for everyday tasks thanks to the Core i7-1355U, and despite having to power up 2 OLED displays, battery life is actually pretty good, nearly 10 hours of actual use thanks to that huge 80 Wh battery. As far as we've shared, we've only great things to talk about the YogaBook 9i, but there are a couple of things we do want to mention that Lenovo isn't probably going to be able to solve, and it might irk you. The first is the fact that if you're just using the laptop itself with the virtual keyboard and touchpad, well, considering that you're going to be touching the display all the time on the bottom display especially, it's going to get fingerprints really easily, just like your smartphone. In fact, keeping your device spotless is probably a ritual you have to do every day should that be your primary use case. Now, the other thing would be the fact that the virtual touchpad doesn't operate like an actual touchpad. Even if you have the keyboard attached, Windows still treat the dual displays as is. It's strictly separate. And so sometimes you might find that your mouse cursor is actually on the bottom display, and you can see it for sure, which can get annoying at times because you have to kind of push it back up to the main display. But in addition to that, if you're launching an application which requires you to give permission with that Windows account control pop-up, you can't use the virtual touchpad at all. It just disappears. Which means you then have to touch the screen or use an external mouse to actually continue. With that said, however, there are still many more great things you can do with a YogaBook 9i, such as dual display gaming with a few supported games, and Lenovo's own Smart Note app that allows you to jot down notes right on the lock screen itself. However, the latter is a feature that's not available as of right now, so you're gonna have to wait if that's what you're interested in. All in all, however, we are extremely impressed with the Lenovo Yoga Book 9i. This is by far the best implementation of a dual display in a laptop that we have tried thus far. For anyone who's interested in an actual usable dual display setup on the go with good performance and battery life no less, we actually have nothing else to recommend other than this. Though to be noted, it does come in at a starting price of about 3,600 Singapore dollars or 2,000 US dollars. It's pricey for sure, but for what this offers, we do feel that it might be well worth it. No other laptops at this point in time comes close to the experience that this offers. And if that is something you're looking for, well, we wholeheartedly recommend the Lenovo Yoga Book 9i. In any case, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below and we'll be sure to take a look and answer them. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to us for more of such content, and we'll catch you in the next one. See ya!